What's going on, guys? So, I finished all of my tournament games, and the tournament overall was a lot of fun. I personally thought it was one of the better tournaments that Hypixel has had. Obviously, that's a little biased because Skywars is my main game, but I really enjoyed this one. Now, that's not to say that I thought the tournament was perfect. It definitely had its problems, which I will talk about later, but first I want to talk about the things that I actually liked about this tournament. So, firstly, this tournament, at least from what I saw, had no bugs. I mean, that's really amazing because you talk about Hypixel tournaments. Half of what you talk about is just the bugs. I mean, there's so many usually. So, yeah, I really appreciated that. I feel like they did a lot of good testing for this tournament before they implemented it, which I'm so thankful for Hypixel for doing because I don't want another Skywars tournament with another huge game-breaking bug. Now, the next thing that I really liked is they didn't change the loot tables. This sounds kind of dumb to say that I like this because why would Hypixel change the loot tables? But you see, the thing is that Hypixel changed the loot table in the first Skywars tournament. That was kind of dumb for a tournament, but I actually really enjoyed that tournament because the loot tables it was bad for a tournament, okay? Let me just make that clear. It was a bad tournament because they changed the loot tables and there was a game-breaking bug. But the Skywars mode that they had, which I don't remember what they called it, it was like Crazy Skywars or something. It's something weird like that. It was so much fun. I've never had so much fun playing Skywars before. Next, I really appreciated that they banned certain kits. Like, they banned Salmon Kit, which, oh my gosh, guys, Salmon Kit is such an annoying kit. So, thank you, Hypixel, for banning that. I love you. They also banned the Golem Kit, which I don't really care about. I don't think the Golem Kit is that broken, but, I guess maybe somebody would find a way. They banned the Frog Kit, which I personally don't think would have been that useful in teams compared to solo. But, I'll bet somebody could find a way to make it super broken. I don't know. And then they also banned the Fisherman Kit, which is basically just a worse version of Salmon, so that's always nice. And the final thing that I really liked about this tournament was that as far as I could see, there were no cheaters. I mean, there was probably people using vape, obviously, there's always going to be people using vape. But as far as I could see, there were no blatant cheaters using like Sigma or something. I honestly didn't see any of them. Now that might be because I was like never in the Grandmaster bracket, but even still, I mean, Diamond and Master had no cheaters in them. So those are the things that I really liked about this tournament, but there were still a lot of things that I disliked. And to be honest, all of them are pretty small annoyances. Like, I think Hypixel could, fix these things pretty easily if they tried. So, first off, there were spooky games in the tournament. And if you don't know what those are, they basically have like a bunch of cool special items in the mid chests. And don't get me wrong, I love spooky games. I think they're a lot of fun. But for a tournament, that's kind of weird. Every game should be the same, besides obviously what bracket you're in and the people you're playing against. But the game should be mostly the same. So then when you have spooky games, it's kind of weird for a tournament, I would say. So that was kind of weird, and I only had one spooky game out of my 120 games, so it's not like it had a great effect on me, but I think for some people it may have. I don't know, I haven't talked to anyone about it. That's just speculation, but who knows. So the next thing is they had KB rods in the tournament, and don't get me wrong, I like KB rods in normal Skywars and insane Skywars, but for tournaments it's kind of weird because they don't require skill nearly as much as other ways of killing people do. So I don't think that KB rods should be allowed, especially because there's that luck factor of who gets the KB rod and who doesn't. But I still think they should be kept in insane and normal Skywars, just not in tournaments. Also, there were so many bows, like, I don't know if people are just trying to get kills really badly, so they resort to bowing you off of spawn, but why did it seem like half of the game got a bow off of spawn? Genuinely, the amount of bows that there were was so annoying, and it's really just, it's not fun to play against like people that are just bowing you constantly and they don't even let you get to mid, especially when like both sides of you are getting bowed at. Like I don't know, it's not a great time. And the last thing that I disliked about this tournament, and this isn't something that can be changed, and it's not something that should be changed, but I didn't like that it was a doubles tournament. You know, obviously this isn't something that's going to be changed because it's Hypixel's tournament. That's the game mode that they chose to do. I just personally don't like double skywars nearly as much as solos because I prefer to play alone. You know, I don't really play multiplayer games with people that much. I just like to play by myself, and so finding a teammate for this was a pretty big struggle. But in the end, I found my good pal Epic Freak, and his YouTube channel will be in the description below if you want to check him out. And he carried me pretty well, so in the end, it was all good. But yeah, I just wish it was a solo Skywars tournament instead. And besides all the things that I just talked about, there's really only one thing that I want changed to future Skywars tournaments, and it's custom maps. In the first Skywars tournament, they had a few custom maps that nobody had ever played before, and honestly, that was one of my favorite things about that tournament. I really enjoyed that. I realized it was kind of a bad idea because people didn't have time to practice on them before the tournament, but I personally loved it, and I really hope they do it again sometime. But I'm curious about what you guys thought of this tournament. If did you hate it? Did you love it? Were there things that you wish they changed? Did you not even play? I don't know. Comment it down below. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and see you guys next time.